The winners, we encourage feedback on all the message boards. Have people to share their opinions. In the end, the executive votes and decides on the recipients. We're going to start with Promoter of the Year. The history of the past 2 years, Joe Gould has won the Promoter of the Year. Prior to that, on a different award, a number of people have received it. I know Luke Laporte won it about 5 times. This year, the 2010 Promoter of the Year is Mr. Mike Gould. We're going to go with the Murray Park Award. Is a sportsmanship award given to someone who, loves the sport, is always smiling, is always happy, always content to do the best that they possibly can, and help others. And this year, or past years, 2009 was actually Mike Gould, 2008 was Rick Heidebrecht. A few years earlier, I had won it, George Gottschalk, Alex Del Brocco, Devin Larratt won. The first time it was given to Devin Larratt in 2001. 2010, the recipient is Guy Windover. Next award is Most Improved. So this is given to, it's awarded to the player who has made significant performance improvements over the course of the year through hard work and dedication to the sport of arm wrestling. In 2008, it was given to Jeff Penny. In 2009, Gerald Ronald won it. This year was very close, but the winner, unfortunately is not here to accept it, is Mr. Jeff Kay. We'll do the Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year. A lot of people came into the sport in the past year, but we felt one stood about all the others in the results he's accomplished in the first year. Actually, I'll just go through some of the names from past years. 2000, the first year was Chuck Garvey, Lance Walker, Jacques Aubin, myself, Rick Heidebrecht, Craig Mitchell, Jeff Slater, Laura Cook. 2009 was Brad Wade. 2010, Bill Cameron. Donna will accept the award on Bill's behalf. There's a silver one here. It's called the OAA Ironman. It's given to the puller who has attended the most sanctioned events, OAA sanctioned events, over the past season. This year it's a tie. These two pullers each attended 12, maybe 13 if you include today. And those recipients are Kyle Kurzweil and Al Aubin. It was we discussed it a few times over the past years, but this year we decided why not. At the Canadian level, they started a Canadian Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2008, I believe, and it was a great idea. We sort of copied the model. Started an Ontario Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame with 2 categories, competitor and builder. This year, we're inducting 5 people into the Hall of Fame. These 5 people have accomplished quite a bit, whether through competing or through building sport, organizing. I'm just going to introduce a few of these people, and then hopefully some will come up and say a few words. So this first person first entered the sport of arm wrestling in 1985. He fell in love with the sport immediately, and he soon formed the Port Perry Arm Wrestling Club in 1987. Several pullers who went on to be among Canada's best came from the Port Perry Club, including Mike Gould, Pat Mastrangelo, John Roberts, Garth Carlson, Rick Irwin, and Terry Barton. He ran the Port Perry Festival Days Arm Wrestling Tournament between 1986 and 1992, and this was one of the top Ontario tournaments every single year. In 1991, he was elected as the Ontario Director to the Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation. And because of the reputation he developed, he was elected as the OAA's first president in 1992 when the OAA was formed. He moved overseas to England in 1993, where he got involved with the sport over there. In 1995, he co-founded and coached the Harrogate Arm Wrestling crew, and in 1997, he won the British Arm Wrestling Championships. In 1999, he was elected as chairman of the British Arm Wrestling Federation, and during his tenure, the membership level rose by 60%. In 2005, he came back home to Canada and soon got back to hosting practices and coaching. This year, he co-founded the Durham Arm Machine. We want to welcome Mike Haig to the Ontario Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Thank you, everyone. God bless.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Our next inductee competed in his first event in Barrie in the early 80s when he was only in his early teens. He won the tournament and took the $50 prize and spent it on Kentucky Fried Chicken for all of his friends. Following this event, Phil Stoppard contacted him and they started training together. Between the late 80s and mid-90s, he hit most of the major pro events in North America and won many, many Canadian championships. He was recognized as the very best arm wrestler on the planet in 1995 and 96, easily winning the Yukon Jack World Championships, which was the biggest pro event of the era. During those years, he was so strong that rumor has it that John Brzezinski decided to pull in the under 200 class rather than the supers, which probably made more financial sense. In 1995, he was invited to Japan to pull 1,000 Japanese strength athletes in a row. He was paid $14,000 just to show up, and he would earn another $14,000 if he went undefeated. He proceeded to beat them all in just under 2 hours, earning $28,000 for his efforts. I remember what I think was his last event before retiring from the sport. It was in May 1997 at a tournament in a suburb of Montreal. He made it to the finals where he faced Jerry Cadaret, who was and still is one of the best super heavyweights in the world. During the setup, Jerry was squirming and complaining to the refs about the grip until he basically just said, take whatever grip you want. And once the match started, this person proceeded to pin him in the same controlled manner in which he beat everyone else. And Jerry just didn't have anything to complain about at that point. This person was just on a different level. He left the sport in 1997 to focus on mixed martial arts and went on to become one of the top competitors in that growing sport. Luckily, we get to see him every once in a while when he comes out to the Mike Gould Classic. We want to welcome Gary Goodrich to the Ontario Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, Gary could not be here today. We'll accept the award on his behalf. This next competitor entered her first event in 1992 and beat the reigning Ontario champ in that event. She won her first national title in 1993, surprising everyone in attendance. She won about a dozen national titles, 5 world titles in 3 different weight classes. In the 90s, with the exception of 6'3", 240-pound Dot Jones, she beat all of the top female arm wrestlers in North America at one time or another, and was considered the best pound-for-pound female puller in the world. In a Huntsville tournament in January 1998, she was coaxed into entering the men's 135 right-hand class, and the class contained the reigning Ontario champ in that class, as well as a 2-time Canadian champ. She proceeded to beat them all, cementing her reputation as being one of the best arm wrestlers of all time. We want to welcome Barb Schlegel to the Ontario Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame. Mark Zaleppo will accept the award on her behalf.
Barb just wanted to tell all you guys thank you very much. She still is involved in the sport in her heart. She still enjoys coming out, and she knows that this is the biggest part of her life, and she wanted to say thank you to all of you.
Our next inductee entered his first event in 1982 in a mall tournament in Alberta. He moved back home to Ottawa in the mid-80s and formed the Regional Arm Wrestling Club, which was possibly the biggest club in Ontario in the late 80s and early 90s. During that period, he ran lots of tournaments throughout Eastern Ontario, hitting the majority of local fairs and winter carnivals. In 1 year, supposedly, he put on 50 tournaments, including 3 in one weekend. He won national titles in 1988, 1990, 1991, and 1994, and a world title in 2001. He has run the Gloucester Fair Tournament for close to 20 years, which was the premier pro-am event in Canada throughout the 90s. He spearheaded the development of the first referee seminar in 1991. He held the Canadian Championships in 1990, 91, 92, and he was one of the organizers of the 2003 World Championships in Ottawa. He is a master-level referee. He was part of the original committee that formed the OAA. He was president of the OAA from 1993 to 2005 and vice president of the CAWF during the majority of these years. And he still continues to host weekly practices for anyone who wants to learn about arm wrestling. We want to welcome Rick Blanchard to the Ontario Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Give us a smile, Rick. There it is.
There you go, Rick.
This is a great family I have here. I think I see you guys more often than my brothers. Good to see you guys. I think I didn't do this by myself. You guys helped me a lot because you had to be there. So I'm glad that I have this. It's a beautiful Hall of Fame. I'm glad to be here. And good luck to you guys. Thank you.
Our final inductee got into the sport in the 1970s. Throughout his career, he's remained one of the most active competitors. He always hated to lose, which is probably what made him keep working to become the very best. He started attending the Canadian Championships on a regular basis in the mid-90s when he was already in his mid-40s, and no other competitor has had his level of success at the national level over a 15-year span. He's won close to 30 national titles, which is particularly impressive considering he only pulls with his right arm. The 2000s were his best decade, at least so far, during which he would routinely beat the top competitors across North America time and time again, including winning the Arnold Classic an incredible 8 times in a row. He has maintained his spot atop the North American rankings since they were originally established in 2005. Everyone knew that if you had a match with him and the match stopped, it was basically over. He was going to beat you. He would never give up. We want to welcome George Zakowicz to the Ontario Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame.
I just want to say thank you. That's it. I never thought they'd do
it. Congratulations to our inductees. We're looking forward to getting many more people in this Hall of Fame. That's it for the annual general meeting. I want to thank everyone for attending, and we're going to be starting the event shortly. The male puller of the year this year, once again, is Shay Dickey. And the female puller of the year, Laura Cook. For the team of the year, third year in a row, Teeswater Thunder. Congratulations, members of Teeswater Thunder. I'd just like to say next year, come get some! And for Ontario's strongest region, once again, thanks to the tremendous effort of Teeswater Thunder and the other teams of the area. The strongest region is Western Ontario. I don't know who wants, maybe Al Alvin can once again accept this award on behalf of the region.